What fueled your desire to start a hip-hop based website?
Well, growing up, I've always been passionate about hip-hop. It was my favorite genre, and especially growing up in an urban culture, you're surrounded by it, whether it be the style, the music, just the personalities of people. You see that how large hip-hop was. It was more than just music. It was a culture, and as I got older, going into college, took a class researching hip hop, and then I started to learn more about it and more of the roots, and it, a large part of the hip hop culture in itself is being able to turn nothing into something, and being able to start your own, being entrepreneurial, because most of these artists and all that, they come from areas with no money and they have to be totally independent. And someone, for example, like Jay-Z, who goes from broke to being worth $500 million, I was just tied in all my experiences throughout my life and applied it and just focused it on one area, and technology, and trying to solve some problems that the hip-hop scene is currently facing.
Thank you. What have you learned about hip-hop throughout the transformation of your website?
Yeah, well, you do learn, as I mentioned before, that it is more than just music. It is a culture. Other things you just learned about just other parts of the world and how other people interact with the genre and just music itself. How the LA styles are different from New York styles, different from South, other countries, because hip hop is a global market. It's not $90 billion a year is spent on, whether it be the alcohol, clothing, the music, concerts. So basically, and besides that, then you also learn some of the negative things, though. About how people act. The industry itself, the music industry is a tough place to be in, and how to even just how to interact with people, how to have confidence in certain areas. So hip hop definitely brought that on.
What do you think is the future of hip hop in terms of style and lyrics and musical presentation?
All right. Well, I think that hip hop, is we're seeing different cycles. I always think like the grade 8, in terms of the perfect balance between making the most money and creating the best music. It was early to the mid 2000s, and back then it was a lot of the beats, production very simple, but still sophisticated. And then there was more emphasis on lyrics and just actually creating good songs. Now it kind of got to a point where it was becoming saturated, and especially technology has changed the entire game. You got beats overproduced, and the lyrics have been kind of like watered down. But I think that in the future we will be going back to simple beats, simple but still very creative, and then there will be a focus on the lyrics. Right now I think the internet makes it so that whoever has the best marketing plan can make it to the top. But once the online distribution is settled and it's obvious to everybody, then you'll see the best artists and best music rise to the top again.
Interesting. Historically, artists have worked very hard in order to get payment and money for their music. What is your take on the free music approach?
Well, it's just about being able to make your money in other areas. Artists like Lil Wayne, makes most of his money on tours. Artists like Mac Miller and Wiz Khalifa, as they were starting off, made all their money on tours. And then once you get that cult following, the cult following will be willing to pay for anything just to feel part of your movement. As we move forward, it's so easy to get music. It's so easy to create music that it's hard to put a price tag on an MP3. And I think in the future it'll be, like I said, music will be entirely free. If not entirely free, then you'll have maybe several exclusive songs that the users are incentivized to buy them. Where buying them gives you a benefit in another area of your life somewhere. But it is tough right now. But like I said, the money's still out there. People are still willing to pay. You see that through something like Justin Bieber, where their shoes are being auctioned online for $700 to $1,000. So people have the money. It's just about how can we get it so that people compensate the artists fairly.
So, how has working with artists like Lil B and Wale had effect on you and your website's approach?
Well, you just learn how to deal with artists in general. I've had to change my view on it. Like, you just have to treat artists as talents, and I try to position myself so I'm a platform that hosts these talents. For example, like when I first started working with Lil B a little bit, and went to some of the events, like an album release party, you just see that they're have large egos, they're very emotional. Same with the managers and the agents, and it's just very. Like I said, you just learn that the offline music and like that is very cutthroat, and it's weird, sketchy market. So you've learned how you just have to how to deal with these guys and how to act very professional and not put them on a pedestal, because at the end of the day they're just people. And then that's what I learned. Even working with Wale, because when I was finally able to meet him and his team, it was just like these are regular guys just working hard and finding ways to to show the world their creative sides. But working with them. See, every artist you can learn from them, because Lil B, San Francisco, different following than Wale, who's from Washington D.C., has an entirely different fan base. So you can just by studying different artists' fan base, you can see how powerful hip hop and music can be. Because there's always going to be someone that can rap about something that another listener can relate to.
What hip-hop artists have inspired you and motivated your interest in hip-hop culture?
Eminem is my favorite. I liked Eminem because he just speaks his mind. Obviously he's a good rapper, but in terms of content, he doesn't care what people think about him. And also at the same time very creative. I also like 50 Cent because he was just a hustler. He's just very smart businessman. And different. He just like from him, you pick up different ways of thinking, or how to rise, or what you can do to turn nothing into something. And on top of that, moving forward, you got Wiz Khalifa. Somebody like Wiz Khalifa, very inspiring because he's been around for such a long time, since like 2006. Putting in the work and making free mixtape concerts. He's going to concerts for like 200 people. Now he's able to go thousands. So he was so dedicated and